All right, how's everyone doing? Tuesday night following Labor Day weekend. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. I know they can go by pretty darn quick being as busy. So hopefully you guys all had a chance to spend some time with friends and family and just have kind of a good weekend. So a little kind of low key for me for the most part, which was kind of nice. It seemed like I needed it. So, but it is nice to start out the week on a Tuesday rather than a Monday. So, but hey, thanks everybody for joining tonight. I know tonight it's always one of those things where not everyone's part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. Wish everyone could or would be. But I wanted to kind of go over. I mean, Jason and I, we've been so busy with these. Unfortunately, Jason's got a work thing tonight, so he's not able to join us tonight. So I'll be kind of going through basically just some of the picks that we've done. And if you guys have those things, if you have, I mean, I've started out with the Rye 3. It was our very first blend that we did. And I mean, we think it came out good. I mean, we're happier than heck with really everything that we've done. So, and like we've said to all of you guys, we wouldn't put anything out if we're not willing to drink it ourselves. I mean, it's the benchmark is exactly that. So between him and I, we're not going to compromise on anything. So we can assure you that we're going to give you a great product, or as good as it possibly can, based on what it is that we've got to work with. So let me back up here real quick and say hi to a few people that are in here. We'll kind of get going at things. So first in, Roy R does things. Roy, how's it going, my man? Aiden, Cam Lochner, Cam, how's it going, buddy? Big Vic, how's it going, Vic? Alex, my brother from the north, how's it going, Alex? Michelle Martin, hi, Michelle, good to see you in here. Sugar Kitty, meow. Kenny Killingsworth, Kenny, how's it going, my man? Adam Dorman, how's it going, Adam? Adam just got his Rebel and Ezra today, so that's awesome. Kelsey, how's it going, my man? Good to see you in here. Wes, there, how you doing? Eric Mays, how you doing, Eric? Good to see you. What do you got? Katie Turk, the boss. Ethan Turk, not the boss. John Purcell, John, how's it going, buddy? Nate Cox, how's it going, Nate? Let's see who else I got. Timmy, how's it going? I already said Michelle, good to see you. Craig Clark, good to see you. Jason Lamp, how's it going, Lamp? How's it going, Rain? Hey, Rain, hopefully everything is going well for you. I know there were some things that, some emergency stuff with you, so I'm hoping everything is kind of smoothing out or getting a little bit better for you. So, Marty, Whiskey Nose, how's it going, buddy? James SoCal, how's it going, buddy? Jared O'Connor. All right. Hey, Jared, how's it going, bud? So yeah, tonight is basically going to be a little, Jim, how's it going, Jimmy? So tonight's going to be kind of a recap, a little bit of some things that we've done. And again, if you have something and you're sipping on it, you let me know. And because we're going to try to go through some of these, the important part was I wanted to try to share some of this stuff. We get so busy with these. And the main thing is that we're able to at least share or do a little live stream and talk a little bit about some of these picks. I mean, we don't want to just do them, send them out, you guys drink them, and everyone goes about their business. So, so we want to share, our thoughts, and we want to hear from you guys as to, everything that's going on. So, first, I guess, the Rye 3, I think there were a lot of people who had had an opportunity to get that. It sold out pretty quickly, which we were really happy to see. Hey, Gary, how's it going, buddy? So, I mean, for me, that like Rye 3, I mean, just going back to that, it was a little bit of an interesting process because when we first started out with that, we didn't realize we were going to be doing a blend at all. So it became much more involved, and it really allowed us to put our little kind of twist on all of that. So, and as you can see, the little ticker below, we just, these picks tonight will be, so for any super chats you guys want to do, it'll basically get you into, getting the 200 mil bottles of the old elk that we did. So it'll just give somebody a chance if they're not, or kind of on the fence with them. It'll give you an idea or a chance to try them before you buy it. So what the heck, I figured. So I'll have bottles and stuff. I don't have them yet, but I don't need the little the sample bottles anymore. So And then anyway, then one other thing, let me go back to this. So, and then, yeah, for anybody who wants or is considering becoming, a patron of myself or Jason and becoming, part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, we welcome anybody and everybody into the club. We want to share the experience with you guys as much as us. So, all right, let me go back to that rye 3. It's literally like juicy fruit bubble gum. I mean, it's so sweet, floral, spicy. It really turned out well. So it kind of reminds me of a little bit of a kind of like a spicy fruitcake, like a nice holiday, really nice like holiday whiskey, just because it's got a ton of spice in it. So that was one of the things we really liked. I'm glad we kept a lot of that in. We had one blend that we were working on that was kind of blending more of the spice out, and we kind of ramped it back up and got more spice in there. So it really worked out well. So, yeah. So like Andrew, yeah, a little bit of like a fruitcake. It's spicy, fruity, a little bit of citrus in there. Really turned out nice. The nice part that we liked about the Rye 3 was how layered it was. You could see all of the components that were really part of it. So the light whiskey and everything that was there really started to shine, which was really nice. So, and if any of you guys have any questions or anything tonight, fire them away. I'm happy to answer anything that you guys might have for me. So this is really about you guys and trying to just go through a few things and then eventually get to our most recent picks, the Ezra and the Rebel, which I think a lot of people have started getting them. I know there's a few who haven't with any of those. So, but yeah, it's definitely something that we're happy to have everybody getting. So, all right, let me take a look here. Let me back up here real quick. Get into this. So give me a better chance. So, all right. So, all right, let me back up here and see if there's any questions. Yeah, it's the Rye 3. I mean, it had a great mouthfeel. It's always been like oily, which was really nice. Something that we really appreciated with this whiskey. But the rye, the American whiskey, all of those had their own kind of components, which was really nice. They all stayed there. So, all right, what's Michelle got here? So got ours and opened the Ezra this weekend. It's so good. Can't wait to open the Rebel. Yeah, so they're both very different. I think you all really truly appreciate like kind of the spice and all of that's on there too. Tim, they're coming. They'll be down. We'll talk a little bit about that in a little while. So those will be coming probably maybe late fall. I'm thinking for the Driftless Glen. So we're excited for those as well. So yeah, I love this. I absolutely love the Rye 3. Incredible. So, okay. What did we have up next? So we've done so many of these darn things. It seems like that I feel like I'm missing something. Now I know we've got the look at the birdie pick, the Russells, which was for me, it's been one of my favorite whiskeys I've had this year. So, I mean, I obviously a little partial to it, of course, but I think in terms of what it offered, I just loved the balance and the complexity of that pick. Now, generally speaking, Russells, the single barrels are really all very good. They will differ, slightly from barrel to barrel, but what we got was, I mean, it's really hard to beat. I mean, for me, it's maybe one of the top few Russell single barrels that I've had. So it's tough. Yeah. I mean, Dave, I can't obviously put it in there for my whiskey of the year, but what I should have done, and I don't have a sample or anything of the Russell's 13, but I'd love to do that next to a Russell's 13, just to kind of see how the two compare or differ, or how maybe different they really are. It'd be very interesting to see that up against the Russell's 13, because I would definitely have the Russell's 13 in my top 10 or so, whiskeys of the year of 2021. The only problem is that for this year, I'm not going to do, unless I have an actual bottle, I'm not going to put it in my top whiskeys of the year. I think in fairness to the category, I think I need to have my own bottle. So yeah, we had the Russell single barrel, and that was just shy of 10 years. I mean, for what it was, it's an incredible bourbon. I'm not just saying that because it was what we picked. It's just an absolutely incredible bourbon. So what did we have then? So then we shifted over to the Foregate, which I think this was maybe a couple months ago now. For me, again, I mean, I know, thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate that, bud. I think it was, for me, I mean, it's probably one of my top whiskeys that I think I've ever had, before. It doesn't matter if it's a pick, not, it's just one of those things, and hey, if one of the mods in here doesn't mind, I know Kitty did it last week, or if there's anybody who wouldn't mind just keeping track of the super chats for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. Just let me know in the chat if someone can keep up with the super chat. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. What's Bolin say? I'll get the super chat sample game started. Thanks, bud. You guys, you and Jimmy are in the running. That's for sure. So, but yeah, the Foregate, and we've gotten really fantastic response from that. And I couldn't say it any better, James. It's one of my favorite. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it, bud. Thanks. James, for me, and I think Jason would probably echo the same thing. It's for me, one of my all-time favorite whiskeys, period. And I just think for what it is, we got lucky to get, this barrel. Fortunately, I have a good relationship with those guys. So it was really nice to be able to try some of the things a little bit before. So that was something that was a little bit of an advantage to kind of get an idea of maybe some of the barrel samples. We kind of got a little bit of an idea. They weren't quite aged all the way to the 10-year mark at that point, or it's not 10-year, the 30 days that they were finished in the toasted barrels. But they were really close, and we knew roughly what the profile was going to be. So that was a really nice way to kind of get a good idea of what it was that we were going to get and be able to offer to you guys. And we knew that price point was going to be tricky, but I'm so happy that it went as well as it did, and that you guys were able to get a bottle of that. I mean, I think for everybody who's had it, I think that most people so far, we've gotten some great responses that people have absolutely loved it. So I can't, it's unbelievable. So all right, what's Michelle say? We absolutely love the Foregate and are very sad. Yeah, Michelle, it's one of those things. I'm glad I ended up with a backup bottle, actually a couple, and I've working my way through the first one. It's just one of those ones you just don't ever want to go away. It's just that good of a whiskey. So, and again, that's what we're trying to do, between Jason and I and all of these picks. It's what we're trying to do, so we want to be able to bring you guys the best of whatever it is, try some different things. And we've got some pretty good connections through all of what we're doing. So we're trying to get some different things, maybe even a little bit of a off-brand stuff to get people something different and unique. But I can promise you, whether you've heard or heard very little about whatever the brand is, we're going to bring you guys something that's going to be very different and unique, delicious, all of that. So let me go back here. What did we have? JG, I think, popped in here. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. Hopefully this will start a winning streak. JG, hopefully you do win something. That'd be nice. We see you in here all the time, so we appreciate it. And that's the thing. The other thing is we appreciate all of your support. So thanks, to everybody for being, a part of all of this. So before I forget, one other thing, would you guys be interested in either a metal or ceramic possible like Mash and Journey either coins or like a little card type of thing. Anything that would be different. We're trying to do something maybe a little bit different. So we're trying to figure out if anybody would be interested in any kind of like Mash and Journey, challenge coin or like a challenge card, something that would be similar to the like a business card looking type of thing. So, and maybe we'll do something fun with it. Maybe, I don't know. We got to figure that out a little bit, but I just wanted to see if anybody would be interested in those. If so, just put in the chat yes, and that'll give us a good idea if anyone is interested in some of those things. I wasn't sure if they were still like a thing or whatever, but I wanted to kind of get people's feedback on that. So let me see also in the chat. Hendo, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. Hopefully maybe Hendo can pop in when he gets the kids down or something, but appreciate it, bud. Cheers to you too. So yeah, let me hear from you guys. So Ethan, this is what we're kind of talking a little bit about maybe some kind of metal challenge coin or like a little card type thing. But yeah, I think maybe the coin, the little metal coin, little kind of fit right on the top of a Glencairn with a little groove or something would be kind of cool. So I'll have to talk to Jason more about that, but wanted to always kind of see about that. So all right, let me go back here. We had a question from Jack. Jack, I think this is probably going to be something also that's going to be either a very end of the year or beginning of 2022. So we're trying to keep these things spaced out. And again, I'll go over a couple of things that we have going on now and coming up very soon. But we're trying to space these things out as much as we possibly can. We're up front. We're generally told a date that roughly, or a time that these things may come, and it could, give or take a little bit. And recently we've ended up with a couple that were a little closer than what we would like. So, we try to not hit you all with everything that's, all at one time. We understand there's an expense and a cost and all of that. And the most important part is, we want people getting these things, trying them. But at the same time, we're very conscious of the fact that, it can be a lot of money. It can add up quickly. So we're trying to, as best as we possibly can, to keep these things separated as much as possible. So what's up, Big Sexy? So let me touch on this real quick. So something that we've got coming up, and since Matt's here, I believe it's next week, Tuesday on my channel, we're going to be doing, along with Penelope, we're going to be doing our own blend. And who better to get involved than the world top whiskey taster, than Big Sexy himself, Matt Porter from ADHD Whiskey. So we're going to get Matt involved with us, and we're going to try to do our own blend from Penelope. We haven't established, I don't think yet, as to what the finish is going to be on that, but it's whatever it is, we're going to give you guys at something, that's good. So next week, Tuesday on my channel, we'll be doing the live Penelope blend. So that'll be fun to kind of craft our own whiskey as well, and then figure out what are we going to do as any kind of secondary finishing, if possible, or something along those lines. So we'll keep you guys involved. So yeah, we wanted to get somebody who knew a little something about blending involved. So there you go. Big Sexy himself will be part of next week's Penelope blend. So what's Ed got? So George Remus pick. It's something that we've talked about doing as well. So it is definitely on our radar of things to do as well. Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof, the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof picks. Hopefully the Elijah Craig pick will be coming before the end of the year. That's a little slow going. We got kind of some false information maybe a couple weeks ago that we thought ours was somehow here, and it wasn't. We were glad that honestly that it wasn't. We want that one to be a little bit more of a kind of a fall, maybe even closer to the holiday type of thing. We know that one's going to be a hot commodity. So we'll keep you posted as we know things. We try to keep people involved as to letting all of you guys know, what's coming, what's about ready to happen, and all of that. So, what else we got? DC, how's it going, brother? Yeah, so there's a couple of the old elk stuff that we've got coming. I'll touch on that here in a second. I just want to see if there's any other questions. Thanks, Amy. Yeah, hit that like button. It helps the video. Appreciate it, guys and ladies. What else we got? Man, Tim, we would love to be able to do a fray ranch. It would be one of those things where getting that, it's there. I think the issue is their stock right now is that I think they've kind of slowed or stopped that right now. So we're trying. So I got somebody in the back room right now. I'll let him on here in a second. I know he wanted to probably share a few of his thoughts. He's been a pretty big supporter of everything Jason and I have done, and he's got a hell of a paddle on him himself. So, all right, let me bring him on right now. I see. I think he's having a Truly or something right now. Is what it looked like he was drinking. I'm pretty sure. There he is.
Is that a Truly?
That doesn't look like a Truly. That looks like a step up from a Truly. So, how's it going, brother?
It's going good, man. How are you?
Not bad. All right, you got the kids down, hey?
Yeah. All right. One of them. My wife's got the other one. So. All
right. Did you take my advice before, or did you not?
I thought about it. I was trying to decide if she liked the wheater or the rye. So
okay, I was gonna say I can't tell everybody what our little secret was in terms of how to get the kids down early, but you guys could probably put 2 and 2 together. So,
dude, this is what you need to do. Y'all need to do a Magnus pick.
We are working on some of that right now. Getting some of the logistics of working some of these out. I wish it was as easy as calling them or talking to a distributor and saying, hey, we want to do this. It can be a lot of work, like in the background, just trying to get some of these guys to agree to things. The only problem is right now, Magnus, through the end of this year, they've halted all barrel picks. So if and when we do it, we'll eventually do it for sure. And when that is, we're hoping that maybe the early part of 22 that we'll be able to get in on that deal. So,
are y'all seeing a lot of that? A lot of people kind of cutting them off?
Right now, and to be honest, part of the problem has been just the distribution, whether it's product or just getting bottles and labels, all of the delays. There's just, if there's one cog in the whole thing that slows it down, it slows everything else down. So that's really been one of the main things, is that it's either been a label thing or just the distributors are backed up, whatever it may be. So I'm glad we've been able to do what we've done right now, because we're good through 21. And now we're just starting to get into everything we're doing now will probably be for the early part of 2022. So
nice.
So yeah, it's been a fun one right now. I'll tell you, it's been, I can't even tell you, just, I mean, with everything that's going on. Is that kind of annoying? All right. Well, whatever. All right.
Lines behind me.
Yeah. That's okay. Well, it actually works out good because you've got a black shirt on. So the contrast works well. So there you go. There you go. Repping. That's good. Sorry. Hey, well, let me ask you this. So far of the picks that you've gotten so far, maybe excluding the 4-gate. I don't know if it's a fair comparison, but I was going to ask you, like, what are some of your thoughts on some of the picks that you've picked up that you're kind of enjoying?
So I think the only ones I don't have were the Woodinville, because I had actually just got another Woodinville pick. So my bad. I didn't get the Woodinville, and I didn't get the Backbone.
Okay.
But I have, I think, the rest of them. The Rye 3, the Rebel and the Ezra, the 4-gate, and the Russells.
Okay.
That's the rest of them, right? I love Russells, period. So this thing's going way too fast. And that's I've never had that warehouse before, so that was kind of a really interesting one.
Yeah, it was something a little bit different. I know David Jennings, Rirbird 101. I know he was a fan of it, so I know he kind of did a little write up on his blog, and he really liked it. So we appreciated that. I mean, coming from him, that meant a lot to us. So
yeah, it was a really interesting. Actually, I'll pour some of that. It's a really interesting one. Like some of them come across real like vanilla heavy, like real creamy, and other ones come across real funky, and then this one's kind of like somewhere in the middle of that.
Yeah, I would agree, because I know sometimes you do get a little bit of that wild turkey funk on some things, but this had I think as it opened up, because I know I got the feedback right away from a lot of people that it was very kind of oaky to them. Oh, yeah. And I knew we had our bottles a little bit ahead of time, and I think I even said to you, like, let it open up a little bit. I think it'll start to kind of, you hate to say mellow out a little bit, but I think some of the oak went away, more of the sweetness came out, and it really just kind of rounded itself out. So
yeah. When I first opened it, I was like, wow, that's a lot of oak.
Yeah,
but yeah, it does kind of round out a lot. That was a really, really good one. I think the Rye 3. That was my first ever Rye 3. And, I'd seen them around, on your channel and all that. And I've been wanting to try one, and it's really good. That was probably a big surprise for me. It tastes finished, but it's not finished.
Yeah. We got that a lot. We got a lot of people who would respond with like, oh yeah, we really like the rum finish. I said, well, I'm glad that you like the rum finish, except there is none of that. So I'm glad it's got a little extra something to it. But
well, and I have another one. I have another Rye 3 pick, and this one just blows it away. There's just so much more richness to it, I guess, would be the word. So a lot more mouthfeel.
It really ended up being more than what we thought. We were very happy with how it all kind of, shook out a little bit, because we never knew it was going to be a blend like we did. And we got to kind of tinker around with it. And we loved that you could still pull out all the nuances of the blend, which was something that was really kind of cool. So,
yeah, that's neat.
All right, let me touch on one thing. So, Trev, the bourbon wrench. So, and this is just one of the things we've got going that's coming up here pretty soon. But since Trev's here, I'll kind of talk a little bit about that. So we are going to be going down the middle part of October to Makers. So myself, Jason, Karen B. Ford, and Trev are going to be going to Makers and doing a pick there. So we were happy. We didn't think we were going to be able to get in on that whole deal this year at all. And then all of a sudden, Shem, one of the guys we work with through Keg and Bottle, called us and said, hey, we can get something together. Here's the date. It has to work for this date. So if you guys can make it work, great. If not, then, either you pass or, whoever can go goes. And, so anyway, we were able to get that all put together here pretty soon. So I think it's like October 13th. We'll all be down there, and we'll be heading over to Makers. And what's that?
Well, that was one of the distilleries that supposedly had cut everything off. So that's pretty awesome.
That was one of the things that we kind of heard, was that, that's why we didn't really have our hopes up for any of that. Then we got to, talking a little bit more, and then all of a sudden, boom, we get this invitation for the Makers, and we made it happen. So we were happier than all get out when we got that invite. So it happened quickly, but we're going to make it work. So, Jason, if you want to come in, you can, obviously. I mean, that's it's part of yours as well. So, if you want, you just let me know, and I can put the invite in the chat. So, okay. Anyway, so yeah, I knew the Rye 3 was a good one. It was a surprise to us. Then we went on to, what the heck did we have? Yeah, we went to the Russells, great one. Then the Foregate. I mean, it kind of spoke for itself. I mean, that was just that was a special bottle of whiskey, is in my opinion. And a lot of people have been really happy with with that. It went very quickly, which we were happy about. So, here's the one thing for a lot of you guys. I don't know. I know we still have a few of the backbone, which is the sherry finished MGP, which turned out great. We were able to kind of get them to pull the plug on the finishing aspect as to the date and time and all that. So we didn't want it finishing anymore. So we were able to get them to pull it before they did any of the bottling. And we really liked how that turned out. So I'd be interested to hear from the people in the chat who have a bottle and have tried it and what you think. I know Christopher David sent me something, and he said he was talking about, holy cow, what a sherry bomb that was. And we want it to be that, but we don't want to still lose sight of the the whiskey. That's one thing. We don't want it to just taste like sherry. There's no point in that.
Was it Oloroso or PX?
It was Oloroso.
Yeah, I prefer Oloroso.
Yeah. So we think it turned out really, really well. So I'm always interested to hear. Again, we knew it was something a little bit different. We're not going to always get the you don't see a lot of backbone picks. So we took a run at that, and we were able to get a finish on it. So we thought it would be something that will we knew it would kind of go a little bit slow because of what it is, but like Jason just mentioned, don't sleep on this one. It really turned out a hell of a lot better than I think people are thinking. And if I could give everybody a sample of this stuff, I would, so you kind of knew really how good it was. It's a really fantastic sherry finished bourbon. So I'll leave it at that. If anyone wants to get it, I don't know. I could probably pull up
I think Jeffrey Watt's been through like 2 of those, hasn't he?
Well, Jeffrey, I know he likes his finished whiskey, and he sent me something too, and I know he was really happy with it too. And he's another one that's got a really good palate. So there's a handful of people out there that you really appreciate when they do reach out to you and they tell you how good something is. We do appreciate that. So we like hearing from everybody, obviously, but it's one of those things where certain people enjoy a certain type of thing, and then when they do reach out to you, it's nice. So all right, what did we have then? So then we had can't forget the Iceman and the Maverick, the Woodinville picks, which I'll tell you, those two, and one thing I'll say about those is our intention was never to be like comparing these two. It was just they were separate individual bottles, and people would send us, I like this one more, I like that one more. And that was perfectly fine. We were never trying to like compete against each other by any means. That's never what we're trying to do with multiple barrels. So, Jason's leaned a little bit more towards the, kind of fruitier, bolder, types of things. Mine, the Iceman, was a little bit more traditional, a little more spicy, sweet, things along those lines. So we had something that were both different, and whatever. I go back and forth on both of them. There's days I want one more than the other. And it's just like all of us. There are those times when you get a whiskey or whatever, and you like it more one day than you do the other. So, and that's perfectly fine. So, let's see what we got here. Just looking to see if there are any other, yeah. So
what's next?
Let's see. So as far as what we've done, so coming up, we did the old up. Let me touch on kind of, I guess, what's coming now, and then what we've got going on. So in terms of what we've got releasing soon, and there is both of the links in the description for the Ezra and the Rebel. There's very few of both of these left. So if you are going to get them, I would encourage anybody to get them before they're gone. So yeah, so Hendo's got his. I know a lot of people got theirs either the end of right before Labor Day, or a lot of people ended up with them actually today. But definitely consider. They're both. Have you opened them up yet?
Yeah. Mine just came in this afternoon, so okay. I got one little neck pour out of each.
Okay. So yeah, they'll be, and again, I mean, I think anytime you start getting these higher proof whiskeys, letting them get a little airtime is generally beneficial. So we've got these left now, and there's, again, only a few of those left. There are a couple links in the description below. Let me see. Let me do this real quick.
These used to be 107 proof.
They did. So they did. So when we were there, we thought going into it, that's what we were going to get. And we just asked, hey, are we getting these at like 107 proof? They're like, no, you're not going to do it at 107. We're going to do it at 120. We're like, well, even better. We're like, holy cow, that's great. Because all of the samples we had, they only ranged, from maybe 123-ish to like maybe 121, 123. So at that point, we knew what we were tasting there was going to be a lot of what you guys were all going to be tasting once they were bottled. So that was nice. So yeah, that worked out totally to our advantage, and to everyone who ultimately ended up with the bottles. We think that they came out really nice. I mean, pretty decent price point nowadays. I mean, $55. I mean, let's call it what it is. There's not, outside of the bottom shelfers, I'll call it, that we can all get for those good price ranges. When you start getting into these barrel picks, you're not getting many things that are going to be less than $50, period. You're just not going to.
Especially at cast strength or barrel proof. I mean, right now you've got what? Stellum? It's about it. Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the things. I mean, when you can get a cast strength or barrel proof bourbon for around $55, maybe even $60, then I mean, it's hard to beat. Now, a lot of the guys that we've partnered up with in terms of shipping, we've kind of really negotiated some really good shipping terms in terms of trying to keep it as low as possible. So no matter if you have, one or two bottles, we're trying to keep it the same price for shipping, because there's some out there where it'll be $40 or $50 for shipping and people don't want to do it. And I get it, so. Well, on this one too, you got a discount if you bought the second one. So.
Yeah. So this one here. So let me say, so for anybody in the chat who does want to pick these up tonight, in the description of the video or the live stream tonight, there is there's both of the links. If you click both and then do a checkout, you can actually save 15% by buying both of them. So we were able to kind of negotiate a little bit of a deal for you guys to get a little bit of a break. So if nothing else, it kind of helps to pay for, some of the shipping costs or whatever. And through Shared Pour, their shipping costs are very reasonable anyway. So, I mean, it's like kind of a flat rate. I forget what it was. Is it like 13 or $17 or something like that?
$14.
Yeah, it's tremendous. It's a great deal. I mean, no matter
if you're shipping anything, any liquor for $15, you're doing good.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So, I mean, really, yeah, if you're less than $15 or somewhere right around there and you're getting multiple bottles shipped to you, I mean, it's because people are having to lobby to try to get those prices. They're not just telling everybody, yeah, we'll do this price for that, because I mean, hey, at the end of the day, for everything that they do to ship that from wherever they do, $15, they're eating something. They're losing money on shipping. I can guarantee you that. We know that. So
everybody's losing money on shipping right now, man.
They really are. they really are. So when people know
business, everybody's losing money on shipping.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad deal. So, all right, Adam, what do you got? Absolutely love all the picks. Did you say whether you're shooting for a Jack Daniel barrel proof pick? Yeah, we are, but Jack Daniels right now, it's tough with them. Four Roses, I'll touch on that in a second. We don't have anything necessarily lined up with Four Roses, but we've got like the 1A version of that, which is going to be coming very soon. So I'll talk a little bit about that. Yeah, so he kind of nailed that one. So let me kind of reel this in here a little bit. So we talked about the Ezra. We got the links in the description below for those. You can get the 15% off with purchasing both bottles. There are a few of those left. What do we have then coming? So let me do my little notes thing. So, all right, coming up, we think we're going to try to launch actually on Thursday, which is a little kind of unfortunate being so close to the Ezra and Rebel. We're going to be launching the Old Elk picks. So both of those will be coming, should be Thursday. So we'll let everybody know probably tomorrow as to everything that's going on, when we'll release it, but pretty standard. We've been doing, I think, 5, 6, 7, and 8 for all the tier levels, Eastern Standard Time. So we try to do it kind of towards the end of the week, kind of, up against the weekend a little bit, give people a shot at those. So the Old Elk. So we have the wheat whiskey and the wheated bourbon. So these were what we're calling the hock and cannolis. No one's seen these stickers yet. And trust me, when you guys see these embarrassing stickers, you guys are going to, I think people may, whether you like the whiskey or not, you may want these things just for the stickers. They're absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what Jason did was almost unfair, to be honest. So let me touch on the Old Elk stuff real quick. So the Old Elk, the wheat whiskey, 113.4 proof, 6-year. So really nice ages on some of the Old Elk now that some of their stock is starting to get a little bit older. And again, and I still think it's all sourced through MGP, but it's all the Old Elk recipes. Now, again, Greg Metz, who was the former master distiller for MGP, has a lot to do with everything that's going on there. So they were able to customize their own mash bills through MGP, which is now, what Old Elk is bottling.
What is the mash bill on the wheat? Just the straight up wheat whiskey.
That's a good question. I don't know if that was, I don't think it was 100% wheat. I don't believe. I'll have to check. I'll let you know on that. I forget which one the wheat whiskey was. And then we did the wheated bourbon, which was, it was not my thing. It was smoky. A lot of people loved it. We were split here with these two. They were very different. I mean, neither one obviously compared. So we were able to secure both of them, and we were happy with those. So those will be, like I said, those will be releasing on Thursday. So Roger, thanks. Appreciate it, buddy. So yeah, we'll be doing those Thursday. We'll let everybody probably know a little bit about what's going on tomorrow sometime in the times, but keep an eye out for the Old Elk coming really, really soon there. Let's see. Then we've got, hopefully coming a little bit later, the bullet picks. They're basically in. We're just going to have to put a little bit of a hold or a stop on some of these. We still have to do the stickers and all of that. So that buys us a little bit of time for all of that. So yeah. And then Jason made a really good point. So both of these are short barrels. So they were, we ended up ultimately choosing, of the samples we had, we ended up with the short barrels, and it probably wasn't it was a good reason why. I mean, they both had such, interesting, delicious profiles that it really stood out. When you get those short barrels, it becomes like almost a concentrated type of whiskey, because of what it has. A lot of, water evaporation. So you get a lot of concentrate in that whiskey. So both fantastic whiskeys. I think anybody who loves, Old Elk, which they've really kind of stepped it up in the last probably year and a half or 2 years. So these things now, with some of that age that they've got, their whiskeys are really starting to get absolutely fantastic. So
I don't know if I've ever had a smoky wheated whiskey before.
Man, I'll tell you what, it was. I mean, when we did the pick and it was live and all of that, it was not my jam. But again, everybody realizes, for the most part, I mean, I'm not a huge smoke guy, in whiskey for the most part, but everybody else loved it. They were banging the drum for that. I know Dan and Julie were part of it, and it was, I mean, everyone loved it. I mean, I was probably the only outlier just because it's something that I struggle with a little bit. But the wheat whiskey, I mean, I loved it. I mean, it was so, it's hard to even describe like what it was. I mean, it was sweet, and it was spicy, complex. That was one of the things that I really remember about that one. But the other, with the smokiness, it was just not my thing. And I can't even say, I mean, everyone loved it. That was the thing with that pick. And I think everyone's going to probably enjoy it if that's part of their thing. So there's The wheated bourbon is the hock. Yeah, the wheat whiskey is the cannoli. So we got the hock and cannoli. So it ultimately is backwards. So my sticker is going on the smoky one, and you'll see. Like it's hard to tell right now because I can't say anything about the sticker part of it because they're going to be pretty epic ones. But you guys will see very quickly on, very very early on, how these things ultimately shake out. They're incredible. He did some more of his kind of almost like a little bit of a DC kind of spin on these type of things. They're maybe not quite that out there, but man, I'm telling you, they're pretty damn out there, but they're awesome. So
two I'm waiting on pretty hard right now is the Peerless picks that I helped pick.
Yeah, so yeah, you were part of that. So those Peerless, so the bourbon and the rye that we've got coming, those again, we're thinking it's probably going to be again late fall, maybe 22. It could be on those. But the problem that we run into is that it's nothing, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, we've got these things, we're ready to go." And now you got to like really spring into action to get these things going. So that's where we still try to plan as much as possible to release these things at a certain time, just so we're not flooding everybody at one time with these things. So
y'all picked a Elijah Craig too, right?
We did the Elijah Craig barrel proof. My guess that's probably again going to be either late fall. It could be Christmas time, somewhere around there. We think with that one. So yeah, there's that's coming. We've got the bullet. We mentioned. I know Adam mentioned before if we had any Four Roses. So no, we don't have anything lined up with Four Roses. I think they're done through the rest of this year as well. There have been a couple of people I've seen do them, but I think those were probably things that were maybe lined up a while ago. So there is the bullet picks. There's 2 of those barrels that are coming, and those will be probably fairly soon. And those should again be pretty good prices on those. But again, if you are interested in Four Roses, well, your bullet is literally, Four Roses. I mean, if I'm saying something I'm not supposed to, I don't know, but it's what it is. It's basically Four Roses in a bullet, barrel strength bottle. That's what we're getting. So, like Jason said, so these are 2 11-year, Four Roses / bullet bottle picks. So if you're interested in those, you kind of know what you're going to be getting. If you like the single barrels that Four Roses pumps out, well, there you go. Here's a way to get them, but without a Four Roses bottle. So, that's one of the things whether people know about that or not, because I think, everyone struggles a little bit with bullet, frankly, because, there's not much or really anything that they do that's premium, right?
Right.
So it's their barrel strength or nothing, or cocktail types of things.
Well, their rye is supposedly like one of the best selling ryes in
the
world, right?
It may be the number 1 selling rye in the world. It possibly could be from that standpoint. And yeah, I mean, they got in early into the bar scene, and that's what they kind of pumped, and they've sold an awful lot of product. But the flip side is now what they're doing with these barrel strengths or barrel proof, bottlings are, we're able to get some really nice, Four Roses, barrels. They have like the system is kind of the same, but it's they just have their little spin on in terms of how they code their things. It's one of those deals. So by the time you start putting 2 and 2 together, it's a pretty easy thing to kind of figure out. So anyway, if that's of interest and you like Four Roses, the barrel or the bullet barrel picks that are going to be coming before too much longer are all of that. So hopefully,
I think they're OBs, right? They're the higher mash bill, the 35%.
You know what? I don't think so, Jason. I think they were the low ones. I think the issue was, and again, this was the only pick that I wasn't involved in, so I wasn't able to make it, and they wouldn't send samples, so I wasn't able to get down there. But I think they went into the pick wanting or thinking they wanted the high rye, and I don't think it ended up being that way. I think it ended up being like the 21
Yeah,
something like
20,
that, 20 or 21.
whatever it is.
Yeah. They're secondary,
They're low rye, which is actually high rye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, their high rye is high rye, and their other like lower rye is still high rye bourbon. So you can't go wrong. But yeah, like Ethan said, so these the bullet blenders, they've been some pretty top notch, things. So don't sleep on the old bullet picks. That's for sure. Let's see, what else do we have going? I mentioned before we've got next week with Big Sexy himself, ADHD. We're going to be doing the Penelope Blend, so we'll have that to do. That we're looking forward to that. We figured, well, I mean, who better to get involved, right, than the guy who knows his thing about blending. So we'll have Matt part of the Penelope Blend next week. We don't know what the finish is going to be, what the secondary barreling will be quite yet. We're still trying to figure that part out. We'll have more information. So
Jeffrey Wax calling out the Wilderness Trail rye too, right?
Yeah, Jace, I'll get back to you in a second. So yeah, Jeff. So yeah, we did the Wilderness Trail. That one again. This is one that could just pop up on us as well. They thought they could get these things done fairly quickly. I thought they were maybe talking within like a month or two. So that again would probably more than likely put us into, the later part of October. So we'll see kind of how that shakes out. Again, like I said, we don't want everything coming at one time. There's no benefit to all of that. Flooding the market with Mash and Journey picks was not what we wanted to do. We want to try to space these things out for everybody so that, you're not spending, well, I mean, I know we all spend a lot of money on whiskey, so maybe that's irrelevant, but at one time, we don't want just every one of our picks, out there. So
yeah, your 48 cleared me out for a month, man. So
it was tough. And I'm told you, man, I'm happy you did. I knew you didn't want to do it. And I called you and I kind of busted your whats. And I knew eventually you'd come around, and you did. You buckled to the peer pressure pretty quickly, actually. But I'm glad you did. It's such a good one. So, all right. So yeah, this was in reference to the bullet pick. So yeah, 21% rye mash bill ended up being her pick. So, and yeah, like Jason said, with everybody they had involved, it ended up having a nicer finish than the 35%. And yeah, because it's one of those things, we all think you go into one of those and you want the highest rye mash bill possible. And when you don't know what you're necessarily tasting, that's what you get. I mean, the stuff shines for itself. So
I actually tend to prefer the E's anyway. So I get a lot of bubble gum on the B batches.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Man, the bull. Oh yeah, I didn't even touch on the bull run yet. So the bull run, we just did that. I think maybe was that like two Thursdays ago, something along those lines. I think that's when it was. No, it was just this past Thursday we did it. So that's a 14-year, roughly.
Westland pick.
Yeah, we did the oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, sorry, the Westland we did on last Thursday. Then the bull run we did, I think the Thursday either prior or the Thursday prior to that. So yeah, we've had a lot going on the last probably month and a half, that's for sure. So the bull run, that was going to be roughly a 14-year American whiskey. So Christopher was part of that. Jeffrey Wack was part of that. So those. We ended up with a few guys that got, again, some really good palates. We ended up with, we think, a real home run of a pick there. So we were happy with that. It was pretty unanimous, I think, once we started kind of chatting and what everybody was getting with that. So I think the bull run will be a really nice kind of well-priced. So you can see we're trying to get these better, some halfway decent priced stuff. We don't want to just do everything that's $100 plus. The Westland one is going to be right around $100. But as far as the American whiskey category, what we ended up with was, from what we were told, some of the very first stock that Westland had. And
wow.
And they weren't even sure how this ended up getting to us. But when we tasted through this with myself, Jason, Will and Sarah and Matt from Whiskey Crusaders, who they all know their scotches and American whiskeys very well. So we got them involved in that pick because of that reason. So the consensus was ultimately it was the very first one we tried. There was a little bit of a kind of a debate with the peated one that was there. That was still very good. It was a short barrel. I think it was like 80 bottles or something they thought maybe would come. So it was very short. So I don't know if it's gone or what we're going to do. I wanted to talk to Jason a little bit about that. Anyway, and I don't know if we're going to end up getting it. We probably could get rid of it pretty quickly, but I don't know exactly where we stand with that. We knew we definitely ended up with an incredibly complex and delicious American single malt. So if it's at all your thing, I think you'll absolutely love it. And my guess would be, because it's something I've kind of worked into myself probably over the last maybe even year and a half to kind of appreciate it a little bit more. What that one was that we did, it was one I can't even wait to get my hands on it. It was that good. So so you can see this was all Westland. I mean, it was almost an 8-year American single malt, which was like fantastic. So,
wow.
All right, what else we got?
You need to start doing some new riff picks, man.
You know what? We've kind of talked about it a little bit, and there's, for some reason, man, it just doesn't do it for us. I mean, I hate to say that, but
they're all a little younger, and
I think that's been, it's just not to say anything like bad about the brand necessarily, and if we ever did one, I don't know when it would be. We've got so many things on the radar that it's probably down the road, I would say, for us. So that, I mean, we've kind of talked about it, and again, with New Riff, you have to go there. There is no samples. They don't do any of that. So you have to make another, effort to go there.
Right.
So that's one of the other issues too. And then if you go to New Riff, I mean, you're not really buy anything else. I mean, you may as well just go to Cincinnati when you're done, or the party source or whatever it is. But there's nothing, I don't think there's anything else that's there. So I don't know. I mean, I'll never say never, maybe we'll do something down the road or whatever. And maybe at that point, some of their stuff, continues to age, and maybe it'll get a little bit better. So, maybe
I can tell you the last pick I purchased was actually a Rare Bird 101 pick, and it's freaking delicious. Calls it smoky, and it's a smoky bourbon. It's really, really good.
Is it? Is it a rye?
No, it's the bourbon.
Okay. All right.
It's really good.
Interesting. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, and that's where you have to be careful, is that, a lot of us get hung up on age. Some of these, I call them younger, but I mean, these 4 to 6, year whiskeys, I mean, I don't necessarily consider that young, first of all, and for what some of these distilleries are putting out there with these ages have been some incredible whiskeys. Now, do you always get the major complexity that you do with something with age? Not always, but again, you're still getting very good whiskeys, So, and I think the Ezra and the Rebel are very good examples of that. They're not super aged. I think what was that before? Here it was. Yeah, it was. So okay. So we're between 6 and 6.5. That's what I was going to say. I just couldn't remember. So I mean, you're still at some really good ages for a couple of bourbons. So, speaking of,
really good, by the way. I just
they're very different. So, my recommendation is always start with the rye based bourbon first, and then work your way to the wheater. I think it's just a fair way to do it. So
the wheater is real sweet, but got a little spice on the end of it. It's really nice.
Yeah, it really, they both are nice.
Yeah. The Ezra's got a little bit that darker tones to it. So.
Yeah, it's heavier, bolder, spicier, something that you would what you would expect. And then I think the spice on the Rebel really kicks in, and it's something that you wouldn't expect to be there. There's really some nice complexity
But it's still really sweet, which is really interesting because usually we get that spice. It's not normally that sweet.
Yeah. And I know some people, like for me, I mean, I prefer that like over the Larceny Barrel Proof by far. Like for me, like I loved that more than I did really, I would say, any of the Larceny Barrel Proofs, period. So, and then, speaking of master distillers, Alan Bishop, Spirits of French Lick. So we're working on something at some point. My guess is that it'll probably get into the early part of next year before we can ultimately get down there to do a pick. But we're looking forward to doing something with Alan. So we know he'll treat us right and give us something that's very very different and unique. We know we can count on that. So let's see what else we got here. Trying to think of what else.
You need an ASW pick.
Say that again.
You need an ASW pick down here in Georgia.
That might be one that we're also going to work on. Right now we're kind of going through, it seems like, a little bit of the big boys, like right now. And then I think as we kind of get into maybe next year, start to look at some different things there. There's some even like off the beaten trail type of things we're considering doing as well with some of these other guys. There's some people that have got some interesting things, some other stuff that's been kind of brought to our attention. That's kind of almost an off market type of deal. Some really interesting kind of cool things that we've got going on. So that'll be fun. Old Soul. So Katie, I did reach out to them. And the unfortunate part with them is, as much as we could have done with them, it would have been kind of fun to do. The only issue was they only partner with Bourbon Outfitters, and we don't do anything. A couple of the other guys work with Bourbon Outfitters. It's not somebody that we work with, so I don't know if that will ultimately shake out or not. If they would go with a different partner or they'd be willing to do anything, I don't know if they are or not, but that was the only thing with them. So I don't know if that's going to work out at this point, but it would have been. I really like what they're doing. And that pick that you and Ethan shared was great. I really enjoyed it. So
what about Old Pepper? Old Pepper's doing some really good.
So here's kind of a funny thing. I've reached out to them a couple of times trying to get not only some more involvement regarding picks or them on the channel to talk a little bit about the brand. And it's crickets. I get nothing. I think it would be a fun thing to do, and I think it would be worth doing. But I mean, if you can't get anybody to return your call,
right. Yeah.
You can't go any further. So that's kind of been a little frustrating, but man, we've got so many good things kind of in the hopper that are coming that we can explore some of that, I think, as we get into more of 2022. So that'll be kind of fun. But yeah, so right now, we've got a few of these, the Ezra and the Rebel. Now, let me pour one of those. Which one do you have? Do you have the Rebel right now?
Or which one do you want to pour? I'll pour.
I'm just gonna pour the Rebels, and I thought that's the one you had.
Yeah, that's the one I just had some of. I've just been pouring little tiny tasters.
And again, for me, I mean, I think for what you're getting at $55 for a cask strength, wheated bourbon, that, again, in my opinion, it's better than the Larceny Barrel Proof. I think you're getting a hell of a whiskey at that.
I do like that it says defiantly smooth.
Yeah, I mean, some of those aren't like necessarily like our wordings, but I do like the part where it says, where Jason put on there, put down that Weller, feller. Yeah. So it was kind of a catchy little phrase. And let me show you guys this. So this guy right here has been enjoying the picks as well. This guy right here. So he let me get back to this and get this out of there.
How old is he now?
Just turned 14 on Sunday.
Wow, that's awesome.
The big 1-4. So we had a good day. Took him to the dog beach and all that other good stuff. So One other thing, and you'll see this will be the confirmation of how good these things truly are. Lip smacking good. If there's anything that shows or says these are good, when a dog is licking his lips, trust me,
it's all that peanut butter.
Yeah, it's all that peanut butter. He's digging his pick. So yeah, he's become a little bougie. He's kind of he's become a little more demanding after these picks have come out. It's kind of gone to his head a little bit, I would say. So
you made him a celebrity. That's what it was.
He's now a celebrity. So he's I told him the other day, I was asking him if he was still willing to kind of paw print some of the bottles, and he said no more. No more. He wasn't willing to do it anymore, except if you gave him like a fee or something. And tired of paying for that guy. So thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. Sipping on some of the Ezra casting now, comparing to my old Ezra 7, 117 proof. Very similar. I'm in on the future picks of Makers, Bullet Maker. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going. So I'm glad to hear that you're in on that stuff. I mean, I liked it too. So maybe the old Ezra 7 was maybe more of a fair comparison, I guess. But, as far as, yeah, I mean, I'd say that's probably a really good one. I'll have to bust that out and see what, how those compare. It wasn't even kind of off my radar. So
old Ezra 7's always like $65, $70 for some reason. It's crazy.
Man, I remember when it was $40 for the longest time, and then people got wind of it and realized it was a pretty good value, and then all of a sudden that just skyrocketed. It's probably $65 by us when it pops up around here now.
Yeah.
Big Vic, I would love to see a toasted Nulu rye pick. So I would agree. I mean, our only thing right now is, and maybe we will do it, is the market was flooded. It was like Starlight. Everyone had Starlight. It was everywhere. And same thing for Nulu was the next kind of hot thing, and everyone had Nulu out there. So I think as it maybe settles down a little bit, we'll probably fire up, something from them as well. We have to get in on that deal at some point. So thanks. Appreciate it, buddy.
Especially a toasted pick. Those are hard to find. Typically they're just, the straight bourbon.
All right. So Jason wants to come in. Let me copy this here real quick. I guess we'll let this guy in, I suppose.
Scott, you coming down to Chattanooga?
I don't think I am. I'm going to be, that next week I'm going to be down in Kentucky. So I had to kind of decide on which one I was going to do. So as much as I would love to go down there, I just have, Christ, he did threaten to come in here. There he is. There's the other half of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. How's it going, bud?
How you doing, guys?
Living the dream. So have I missed anything? I mean, it's like as much as it seems like we don't have things, the more I talk, the more I realize that we've done an absolute ton already, and there's still a ton to come.
Yeah, I think you touched on it before. The fact that we were trying to space them out, and they kind of all are starting to come a little bit around the same time has been challenging. The good thing is that the old elks, even though it's cool that they're here, like I said, they are short barrels, so there's not going to be many of those.
Yeah.
So 100 of, there's only 100 of each one. They're super concentrated in flavor, really good. Mm-hmm. We're happy with those. Yeah, you mentioned the Bullets. You mentioned the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, the Wilderness Trail. Hopefully, if we get the Wilderness Trail in the fall, that would be perfect for fall time, which would be great.
Yeah. Another, and that's another one. Like when we tasted it, I mean, it is like we keep like referencing that and Stag. The complexity of that and what it is that Driftless Glen is doing is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so the Driftless Glen, the two Peerless, we are working on a Jack Daniels. We are working. We did secure a Remus pick. I don't know if you told them that. We will. No,
I didn't tell him.
We will be doing a Remus pick next year, so we do have a Remus pick in line. I don't know. I've had some really good ones, and I've had some kind of mediocre ones. So hopefully, we'll get a good choice of barrels.
Yeah. So yeah, that will be yeah. So I mean, it's like, holy cow. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff going. I mean, we're hoping that some of this stuff does like leak into 22, just because we've got a lot of stuff coming. It's crazy right now.
Yeah, the Penelope bourbon that we have coming up. So you mentioned, so the idea with the Penelope bourbon and working with the guys at Penelope is to actually release different stages of that blend that we're going to do. So whatever blend we do, we can actually toast it, which would be kind of cool. It would be like a 4-grain toasted blend, which would be pretty unique. Then from there, we talked about possibly doing a French oak finish on it, which would be ridiculous if we could do that. So
yeah, we were talking about some of the finishings and some of the little twists that we can put on it. So yeah, not only do we have the potential or the possibility of it being like a 4-grain, but to then be able to finish it like in a toasted barrel or French oak or something like that would just be kind of icing on the cake. So
you can have more than one finish on it, like on the same bourbon.
It's so they have multiple barrels. We could kind of release it in parcels.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha. That would be really cool.
Yeah. To do anything French oak, Scott and I are like, holy shit, like So
yeah, I mean that twist. I mean what French oak does to, I mean really bourbon or rye. I mean it's maybe one of my favorite like secondary or aging barrels, just because of what it does. I mean that like marshmallow and the intense, creamy vanillas, things like that. It really puts a hell of a spin on things. So we're working on some other stuff too for next year. Ready? We already know about the Maker's Mark. That won't be released till next year by the time we get it. Because remember, once we figure out what staves you want to use, or we should say, once we figure out what staves Trev wants to use. We're gonna have to like slow him down a little bit. He's gonna be like a Tasmanian devil.
Well, they won't let you pick like 10 of the same one, so you can't do like a 46 cast strength or anything.
I think we have I kind of have a little bit of a plan in mind, like where I want the pick to go to gear towards. So it'll be interesting to we're going to kind of give that challenge to both Karen and to Trev. Like if they could make their ultimate, maker's pick, like what combination of staves would they want to use? And then we kind of take what we're thinking of and see where there's a fine line of what we can do with it. So
you can make those spice bombs, or you can make them, fat kid whiskey, or you can do a lot of crazy stuff with them.
That's the thing. We can make it taste like French toast, or we can make it taste like you said, like fruity spice bombs, or I don't know. Yeah. It might be nice just to do a fat kid whiskey.
I had a tiramisu version.
At the end of the day, I mean, a nice, nice fat kid or chocolatey type of makers. I mean, I think when you hear people talk about it, in all honesty, I mean, those are the ones that people rave about, the sweet ones, sweet and spicy.
Yeah, like my goal is to I think what I would like to do is try to combine some staves to give us like a dusty bourbon profile, like a butterscotch bomb.
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. If we could figure out a way to kind of move some staves around and make something super butterscotchy, I think we would have something there.
I wonder if they'll let me, if we can do that, and I can throw it in the back of the AAA mobile and just drive around Kentucky for a little while and see if we can get some influence or something going like that. You
got
the ocean, or you got the back roads of Kentucky. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be the
AAA mobile
edition. Maker's Mark AAA edition would be perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be a fun one. I mean, I think that's the best part about that is, you can take the base and then we can kind of figure out, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about what all of us kind of want, because that's not really something you go into totally blind and trying to figure out like at the time. Like you have to kind of come up with an idea of like, what are we going to try to craft here? So we'll see. That'll be a fun one. And again, that won't be we won't have that till 22 at some point. So,
don't forget, you also forgot our cast strength rum.
Yeah. So that one was supposed to be, so that slowed down a little bit. Like Hendo and I were talking about, there were some distribution type of either changes or issues. So I think it slowed that down. So we've got a Ronazalco, like a 10-year rum, which is just, man, it's a fantastic rum. I mean, I know as we kind of threw it out to the patrons and all of you guys to kind of get a feedback, because we weren't sure. And before, like, no time, like, there were more people than we thought that would be interested in them. So we were happy with that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Do we have like 75 or 80 bottles, something like that?
Yeah, we only took about 80 to 90 bottles of the cask strength rum, because we didn't want to do a full run of it, because we got some interest, but not a ton. But I feel like I know there are a good amount of rum drinkers out there, so I feel like to offer a 10-year rum would be pretty damn cool. A 10-year cask strength rum.
Yeah, and that's the Rye 3 guys, right?
That is. That's Ronazalco. Ronazalco is the brand. So and we tried. I mean, when we had it, I mean, we just kind of like, each time we have the damn thing, we're like, man, this is just such a delicious rum.
Yeah, the rum is a blend of Central American rums, but it's all pure cane rums, no sugar added.
No.
It's very along the lines of a Foursquare style, if that's what you like. Yeah.
No funky shit. Like, this is in the true sense of rum, that this is what that would be. So like Jason said, it's in the category of like the Foursquare. We're not trying to compare it to that. It's just that style of
it tastes like grilled pineapple on maple syrup pancakes.
Man, it was so good.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's the fat kids rum. It's fat kid rum is what it is. So if you dig that, then that's your thing. So
you should ask if you guys have any questions about the O'Sherry pick. Ask Jeffrey Wack. I think he bought like 12 bottles of it.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying earlier. I think he's been through at least 2 of them already. So
so clearly he's digging it. That's one thing. Let me see if I can. I'll drop that if there's anybody who's interested in that. Hang on, let me.
So Jeffrey has a good question. Surprised when any of these aren't instantly sold out. Honestly, I think it depends. I think it's kind of we kind of have a yin and yang thing here. On the good side, we're bringing a lot of variety, but I also think on the bad side, people are like, well, I don't want to spend the money on these. I'm going to wait for these picks.
Yeah.
So I think there's some of that goes into it, but they live on the website for a little while. But remember, these 2-barrel offerings aren't always going to be the norm. So like the Wilderness Trail Rye, we have 1 barrel. So that's going to sell out. Especially the amount that we've been talking about.
Oh yeah, shit, man! I didn't even mention the Wilderness Trail one. Holy cow, that was one, like, when we were there, like that was such an incredible like whiskey. Like, I hate even to say like rye or bourbon. It was just hands down an incredible, like, the consensus when it was kind of a cool experience. We got to go into the Rick House, and really just dive into those. He let us do really whatever we wanted, try through different things. We must have gone through, I don't even know, 7, maybe 8 barrels roughly. And we narrowed it down to 2, went back into this little room, myself, Jason,
Brew Bakers.
Yeah, Brew Bakers. Jesus. We went back and we went in this little room. We had like basically X and Y, and we did them blind, and we all chose the same one, and it was just a hitter of a whiskey. So we can't.
Oh, dude, it was already selected when Rush came on the loudspeaker as we tasted that barrel. It was over. I'm like, this is it. God is talking to us right now.
It was.
That one's gonna have a Rush theme. That one's gonna be called Tom Sawyer's Mean Rye.
Yeah. That's a good. There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this had to be your fastest selling one, right?
That one sold out in an hour. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was long. I think I was one of the very few in my category to get one, so it was nice.
Yeah, and we knew that would go fast. I don't think we knew it would go like less than an hour fast. But we know, like, with something like that in the future, if we can do 2 and they let us, that maybe we'll do it just with all the patrons and all of that.
So,
maybe.
so Ed
we'll
Bell. Ed Bell wants us. Actually, this is a good question for the chat. Would you guys want us to do a Knob Creek pick, a beam pick? I know Ed Bell does, and I'm pretty sure. You know what, Adriana? If we do a beam pick, we'll get Adriana on the selection committee for that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
They're all 9 year now.
How do you not get her? How do you not get her in on a Knob Creek pick? I mean, come on, that's no brainer.
Yeah, they're all 9 year now, right? They're not. You don't get any older.
Yeah, they're pretty much all 9 to 10 years now.
And the thing is, here's the thing with that. As much as we say that, I mean, we're like poo-pooing like a 9 or maybe 10-year bourbon. Okay, we've gotten so jaded and so spoiled with Knob Creek that we're like, it's not 14 or 15 years old. I don't want it. It's only 9.
I got a really good 9-year pick. I was just asking.
I mean, it's just like it's one of those only things where
actually, Baker's, that would be an interesting pick.
Baker's.
You know what? I'm gonna ask right now about that. Hold on.
Would be.
This is live TV, folks. Here we go.
So any Buffalo
is that a Daniel or a Shem question?
Either or.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, Baker's, man, that sure would be interesting. I mean, if they've done them, you sure don't see very many or hear much about them. So that would be very interesting to do something like that. But yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, for a Knob Creek pick, I think what you get for that, if they're in that 9-ish year range, DC, come on, somebody who's got a mute button?
Old Forester, we're working on for next year as well. I'm still hoping to work with Jackie Zykin on getting us a Butter Pecan.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that goes. So that's definitely on the radar. We haven't talked about it.
Would you go 100 proof, or would you go for the?
So that's the thing. A lot of people have asked us to do. Well, generally, what folks are saying out there, the 100 proofers actually taste a lot better and more rounded than the barrel proof ones. but with that said, people see barrel strength and they like give me, take my money.
Yeah,
I don't see the 100 proofers where I'm at. I have 3 of the barrel strengths, and I would buy a 100 proofer like 4 times.
Yeah, it's like we want to do what's best for the group, but also what's best for our retailer, because we want them to sell.
Yeah.
So if we did a 100 proofer, I'm not sure if everyone would be that crazy about it. They would probably rather have the barrel strength. But I trust in Jackie Zykin. She always says that Old Forester does better when it's proofed down a little bit. And I totally agree.
Especially at 6 years old.
Exactly.
I mean, the good part is, if we get it, which I'm sure we will, we'll probably get something at barrel strength. And if we want to try to proof it down or whoever we're doing it with to give us an idea of how to get it to 100 and see what that does.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, if ultimately we like it and the people we're doing the pick with, we like it more, that's just what we're going to do. I mean, as simple as that.
So, well, I mean, even if we were tasting barrels at full proof and trying them and then watering them down, they got a lot better. I mean, we could always make that call,
Right.
Jeffrey, as much as we would like to do that, it's on our radar. We're trying to do it. I think right now the only thing that we maybe have going right now, I think is I don't know if it was a Jack Daniel's rye or bourbon, but they were the 94 proof, I think.
Well, I'm gonna have I'm gonna have Chris Fletcher and Lexi Phillips on the channel in a few weeks. So when I get them off screen, I'm gonna see if they could push us forward a little bit for a pick. So that's the plan.
Rob, we've got that. We've got the Woodinville already.
They already did the 2 Woodinvilles,
and I think, are they sold out already? I think they are.
Oh, they're gone. Yeah, they're gone.
Those are long gone. So the Woodinville is long gone, unfortunately. So unfortunately a little late there. Ethan, this is probably more a question for Jason. I've heard some cool things.
They don't have enough stock to be doing picks yet. They just don't, unfortunately. But I think so I don't know if you remembered, Scott. I actually scheduled a barrel pick at Spirits of French Lick this month to do. To try to we were still trying to figure out our schedule, so I don't think it's gonna happen. So we're gonna have to reschedule that for we'll have to. I mean, Jesus. I mean, we've had so many things come up and just
like be presented that we have to like be.
But I also love the idea of doing something with ASW that Hendo did. So
yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah,
I mean, those guys are making bourbon, they're making rye, they're making single malt, they're making Irish style whiskey,
Irish style, yeah,
making single malt style, peated, non-peated. I mean,
and both together.
Yeah. All right, before we kind of like sign off or whatever, I'm gonna do. Let's see. I know Christopher was probably keeping track of the super chats for. I figured I would give the samples of the Old Elk stuff. So I'll give it. What is it? We've been an hour and 25. So let's see. What time is it right now? 8:30 almost. We'll go to 9 or 10 depending on where you are. So another 5 minutes of any super chats that come in will get you entered into the Old Elk stuff. So
dude, I forgot. Did you take a sip of the peanut buster and then go to the chocolate blazer? It gets so much more chocolatey.
I haven't yet. Now I'm on to our Ezra. So we've got the old chocolate blazer going right now, which is and that's been one of the common themes between both of them is really kind of how chocolatey they both are. So yeah, Jeffrey, here's another one we didn't even talk about. The Redwood Empire, the Haystack Needle. So that's also something in the works that we're.
Oh, that's right. We are working with the Redwood Empire Haystack Needle. Yeah. That's another good one.
Did you add that to your spreadsheet or no? That off the spreadsheet?
Let me see if it's on there.
We don't know. Oh my God, that's so chocolatey.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another one. We don't know if that's going to be the port or cab finish or whatever. But either one, I mean.
Yeah,
at that price point, man, those are incredible.
Yeah, we are our distributor is in talks with Redwood, so hopefully something will come down the line.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and they do a good job. I mean, they kind of make a lot of things. I mean, most of the people that we do a lot of work, with the three people that we mainly do stuff with, they really do a hell of a job to get us some of the things that we've been lucky enough to get. So we're pretty fortunate to be working with some great companies and distributors to get these things for us. So it's been incredible. So
yeah, Fry Ranch as well. Apparently it's tough with them. I don't know what their plans are next year, but they've kind of halted single barrels.
This is one that is not in the works. I can confirm that.
If that ever happened, we would have to get DC on the.
DC would have to be.
I mean, yeah. How about a Dickel Tabasco with a toasted finish?
Oh,
oh my!
I think it tastes like vomit, right?
I don't even know. I'm like, that's.
Would MGP let you do a barrel pick a la Remus 5? No, they wouldn't. We're going to do a Remus pick, but it's going to be their 6-year-old stuff, 6-7-year-old stuff, not the
16-year-olds.
Yeah, not the 16-year-old stuff. They are not getting. They're definitely not giving up those old stocks for barrel picks.
But I'll tell you what, man, don't sleep on just that standard like Remus label. I mean, it's a pretty darn good everyday kind of bourbon. So I mean, if we can get the thing at what we're going to do, if we get just the regular Remus, pick. At barrel strength, I mean, that's going to it'll be a damn good whiskey. I mean, that's for sure. And probably a good price point, I would imagine. So that's another one to really keep an eye on. So
yeah, dude, I forgot how good this Rebel pick is.
Dude, they're so chocolatey. And I think as they open up,
what's funny is so we have more bottles available of the Rebel pick. Everyone's jumping on the Ezra because I think of the name. But this
I prefer the Rebel.
The Rebel pick is fantastic.
Yeah. The Rebel's like super sweet. It's nice, like peanut butter brittle with a little spice on the end of it. It's really good.
I mean, hey, at the end of the day, like we all know, I mean, it is Luxtro, but we know where they get their stuff from, where they're sourcing from. I mean, it's what it is. And if you want to do, comps as to what they may compare to in the lineup from the other company, well, you can do it and kind of get an idea. The good part is that we've got both of these at 120 proof, $55 for a cast strength, 6+ year bourbon.
Yeah. And that Rebel pick is still better than any of the Larceny barrel proof picks.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
It doesn't drink like hot trash, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's
not even close.
No, it's just such a, and I would say like of the two, I mean the Rebel, it is super crushable. It's easy to drink, like it's sweet and spicy and chocolatey. And for me, like the more it opens up, I get a little more like orange citrus on it too. I don't know what it is that popped up on it, but man, it started getting really damn good. So,
the Rebel bottles and the Ezra's, we didn't put a minimum on them because there was a lot. So if you guys want backups or whatever, or even if you want to share the links with people you know within the community that would appreciate them and not just flip them, hopefully, then you could definitely share the links with people if you want.
Let me I think I already put them in there. So if they are in the description of the video. So if anybody wants to get in on that deal, and again, if you buy both and you check out with both of them at the same time, you can save 15%. So it's a pretty damn good deal if you ask me. So
yeah, Todd, I have a little bit of my voice was like gone this morning when I woke up. I'm not sure what the deal was. So
nice. It's just those added touches. When you have a whiskey that doesn't drink like straight hot trash, that's a good thing, right?
Right.
So man, she's on me. It's like my wife. As soon as I say something that doesn't like sound the best, it gets thrown back in my face. So,
well, I mean, another thing that Scott and I want to avoid too is the so there's a lot of sourced MGP picks from different brands.
Yeah,
we don't want to just keep doing MGP,
right?
MGP.
Right.
I mean, if we're going to do an MGP, we're going to do it direct from them, which is why we want to do the Remus. So,
can you do any rye picks direct from them?
Man, I don't know what.
I think they do. I think they do Rossville Union picks, don't they?
Man, that's another good one. I mean, I mean, that was one thing. I mean, so here's the thing. I mean, we all know like MGP is not great with branding their own stuff. Like, period. Right. Now, again, like if we could do like a Rossville Union and we knew what we could get, like a rye, like we could get a really good 95.5 or something along those lines.
Jeffrey Wack has a good call out too. The Boone Counties.
Oh yeah, it's another good one. So
Boone County wheated bourbon, 8 years.
Yeah, typically when I'm buying the MGP ryes, it's usually Nashville or Pepper. Yeah. They tend to do the best picks that I've found. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm sure Nashville will be one that we probably will look.
They're expensive for what they are, but they're also 7 to 8 years old.
Yeah, they're pricey picks, but they're also getting a really good selection of barrels.
Oh yeah.
That's one of those things, because there's these like trends where there's a lot of something happening, like Nashville or Nulu or whatever it is, where you're flooded with these. So like if we can do it a little down the road where there's a little bit, less traction on that one, or like it's, a ton of like influx, we don't want just everybody to have a Nulu or a Nashville pick. I mean, we want to do it, but we don't want to be one of 100,
Well, and I would probably stay away from the Nashville bourbon. $80 for a 5-year MGP.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't do. See, we're going to be able to do a Remus pick, like a 6-7 year MGP for
$60 or whatever.
Yeah, for about $55. So
yeah, and this is where whiskey education comes in. If you know where we are, what we're doing, and what's in that bottle, and what the age is, what the mash bill is, just do the math. Put 2 and 2 together. You can figure out exactly what it is, and do your own comparison. So that's that part of it as well. So. What's Rob say? So there's another distillery in Woodinville called JP Trodden. They're amazing grain to glass. Probably not many people know. I can send sample. Rob, never heard of JP Trodden before. I would say that. So, hey, I mean, I don't think we're ever opposed to. I mean, we've got some opportunities to do some pretty cool things from people that not a lot of people have heard of. But the good part is, and here's a little kind of, I don't know if it's a secret or not, but there's a lot of smaller brands out there that, however, have been able to secure or purchase older stock from a while ago, where you can get some really good older whiskeys that nobody has any idea that these guys even have that stuff. So that is part of the the fun part of working with some of these smaller, you know, I don't want to say distilleries because they're not distilling anything, just smaller whiskey companies where we have the opportunity to potentially get some really damn good whiskey that nobody has any idea what it even is.
So our guys at Keg and Bottle, Shem, he's already started an email thread about a Baker's barrel. So here we go.
Cool.
Ooh.
Cool. So yeah, it is, man. Some of these guys are great. When you get on it, then they get on it, and you know, who knows how long it'll take or if it'll happen. But if there's some guys that will make it happen, we've got some awesome people doing some.
Y'all obviously partnered with the right guys to, they're doing the volume to get the good stuff and all that kind of stuff too.
And how great are the shipping on from both places? Keg and Bottle and Sure Pour are.
And same thing, what was the other one I was thinking of?
We're gonna Young Pei Chang. We're gonna definitely try to do another Russell's next year. And definitely a knob, either a knob or a Baker's. We're already working on. So we'll see
we've got some. And Curiata, another one that's going to keep our shipping things down, and they're another one that we're working with and trying to get some different unique things coming. So we've got some really cool opportunities. So, all right, I'm going to end it now. So Ed was the last one in here. Christopher, if you can, let me know the amount of people that were in for the super chats, and I'll let one of the guys in the stream tonight choose a number between whatever it is, and we'll get a winner. So. Yeah, so I mean, I think this will give somebody a good chance to try a couple of the old elk picks, maybe without necessarily buying anything right away. Obviously we want you to, but maybe you'll like one or both, or
Then remember the old elk picks will be pretty limited. For each one, only about 100. I mean, barely 100 bottles. I think one of them is actually like 80 or 90.
Yeah, it was very very short, but like we mentioned before, they are. They're like a concentrate. I mean, there was probably it wasn't a surprise that we ended up with the ones we did when we were told they were short barrels. I mean, they really kind of stood out in their own right. So we were happy with those. I mean, like we talked about, one wasn't my thing, but again, you can't listen to me on anything that's got all the smoke in it. That's not my category. So, all right. So the numbers between 1 and 24, Hendo, since you were the first one in here tonight, why don't you give me a number between 1 and 24, and that will be tonight's winner.
Number 5. It's my birthday.
Number 5, Christopher. Who do we have as number 5? And I'll get these things out ASAP to you, hopefully this week still, and you'll get them maybe before you even. You'll probably have these samples before you'll even have your bottle, because we won't release these until Thursday, I think is the plan.
I think Thursday should be the day. If not Friday, we'll see. Yeah. I think they're all set up online. It's just a matter of when we want to take them out to the public. I think those we could release probably Thursday or Friday, and then we'll have a nice little bit of a break before those 2 bullet 11-year picks are ready. So
when are we thinking? Are we thinking those are going to be 2 or 3 weeks roughly?
Probably, because I still got to make the friggin' stickers. They can't test.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be good if we can slow that one down. So, all right, tonight's winner, Lito Cortez. Lito, send me an email with your all of your mailing information. I'll get that stuff sent out to you and ASAP. The email is mybourbonjourney01@gmail.com. So make sure you send an email to me at mybourbonjourney01@gmail.com. So
actually, here's one of our bullet picks right here.
What's left of it?
This is what they gave us from the samples.
What a great color on it.
Yeah, I mean, for 11 years old.
And again, I mean, there's what you've got. I mean, if like I mentioned before, that's what you get. You know where it's coming from, and if you're a fan of what Four Roses does, I mean, Jesus, it's hard to beat that. And again, that's going to be probably a pretty nice price point on that as well for what it is.
Yeah, this one is I think one of them is very fruity, extremely fruit forward, almost like strawberry, with some spice. And then the other one kind of falls more on the mintier side, more on the minty and herbal side. So you have a nice balance of each one.
And that chocolate blazer is so good. I keep going back and forth which one I like more. But what I should
Jason,
do is
you gonna get any Chattanooga picks while you're in town?
Well, I already talked to Tim about doing a Chattanooga pick when they're ready. They're not ready yet, but they're obviously they released the experimental stuff at the distillery, but that's what it's made for. But to do single barrel picks, they're not ready for that yet. But
they've got single barrel picks in Georgia.
Oh, within Georgia? Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
all right.
Well, Georgia and Tennessee, but
I'm gonna blend the Buster and the Blazer. I got a little blend going on.
So it's the Bluster.
Ooh, the Bluster. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Oh man, that is like really chocolatey. Holy moly!
There you go.
That's like peanut butter. That's like peanut butter and Nestle Quick. Ooh.
Also, look soon. Scott and I will be launching our new website, themashandjourney.com. Eventually, we will release all the picks through that website and not through Patreon. So,
yeah, we've been looking forward to. And thanks to Christopher. Hey, Christopher, thanks for being patient with us. We appreciate it. We know he's been nice enough to kind of host all that part of it. So. And Jason's been, I mean, honestly, it's really him doing all of that. He understands that part of it. I'm an idiot when it comes to that. So
yeah, I told Chris I have to email him because the next page up to that we have to do is just list all of our picks that we've done and what's coming up, just so we have a. But it's all using the CSS stuff and putting all that stuff in the back end. So he has to do that because I'm not really sure how to access it through that portal. So
yeah, I mean, it'll be nice to have everything condensed to one area. So you'll have, picks that have happened, so that if we get to the point where things are still available, we can put links and everything up there as to, stuff that's still available, things that are coming or whatever it may be. We still want to keep patrons as exclusive, and not just let everything out on the website. That's not the plan. It's just to kind of condense things so we have one central location that we can kind of operate out of. Our channel stuff will be there, merch will be there, all of those things, glassware, whatever it may be. So it'll just be nice to have everything in one area for the most part. So
dude, this is chocolate peanut butter brittle. I mean, holy crap.
Which one are you on right now?
I blended them like you did.
Oh yeah, it's so good. the one thing I say is it's like that weeder part kind of tamed down a little bit of the spice for whatever in the blend. But man, it's so like chocolatey peanut butter. It's so delicious.
Hey, Scott.
Scott
Lito's asking for you to show your email again, if you could.
So it's mybourbonjourney01@gmail.com. So mybourbonjourney01@gmail.com.
There's spice on the finish though. Ooh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, actually, it's a little kind of comes in late there.
All of our picks will always have a good finish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Unless the makers we do get some kind of a butterscotch bomb, then I wouldn't need a big finish if it tasted like butterscotch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. That finish part is just something that, like, when you can get what it is you're tasting and that just lingers, it's even better. So definitely, Roy, you got chocolate in my peanut butter.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good thing. So, again, I mean, two 6.5 year, whiskeys. Man, I'll tell you, like, I was honestly kind of surprised to see the order of who bought what. Like, I thought for sure the weeder would have been like more, but it's been the opposite for some reason. I don't know why, but man, they're both.
I think people hear chocolate and they're like, yeah, I'm diving in on that.
Yeah.
Well, I texted Scott and I said, man, I know the Ezra pick's going to be good because I've never had a bad Ezra pick. But the Rebel seemed really, really interesting to me. And peanut butter on a weeder, like I don't ever get peanut butter on weeders, so I thought that would be really, really cool. And this straight up sweet peanut butter brittle. I mean, it's good.
It's delicious. I mean, for me, honestly, if I had to rank it, which is really odd because I'm not really like much, like I don't ever like lean for whatever reason towards like weeders. But if I was choosing, I may lean towards the weeder first, to be honest.
Right.
Now, again, it could change, but I mean, I love both. But man, what that weeder, it surprised the hell out of me. And maybe that's why I choose it. It just surprised me as to what it was. When we were there doing the pick, I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I was never expecting that to be on a weeded bourbon, period.
Yeah, if you told me that was weeder, I probably wouldn't believe you.
Oh my God, the blend is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so literally good. It's chocolate peanut butter brittle, man. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. If anyone watching has both of them, do a 50-50 blend. Holy shit. Yeah,
do a little blend. I'd be interested to see what you guys think. It's almost like to be honest, it's almost like if you had like Cracker Jacks and like you have chocolate, like the chocolate Cracker Jacks, there's something about what that is, like that blend. I don't know, man. It's fantastic.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, that extra thing. I don't know. I think that's why I was saying brittle was it's not just like peanuts and chocolate. Yeah. There's an extra like sweet note there.
Yeah, it's for sure. But I would agree with Hendo. You get the sweetness up front, and then like as the finish develops, that spice creeps right in there, and it's like boom, it just lets you know it's there. It's great. Yeah. That's where I think that's where we were really banging the drum for these two picks. So I mean, I was doing my best with the baseball hand signals on when we were there doing this stuff. I was flashing like there was no tomorrow. I'll tell you that. So
yeah. Scott was on the corner of the table, and I was like, he was here, and I was sitting like right here. He was on the end, like sitting at the head of the table, and I was on the side, and he's putting his hand down like this, going.
Oh, those are the ones you did with Chad and Sarah, right?
Yeah.
The only good part was they kind of. There was really one that we were very similar on. It never really got to the point where there was any, major debate, but they were looking for something that was a little bit different than what we were. So it ultimately ended up working out really well. And I know what they chose was very good as well.
But not as good as yours, obviously.
Well, I mean, we were back and forth on the Ezra because they were both so good. We found two barrels that were really great. And it was just a matter of which one, who wanted what. The Rebel, we were Scott and I had clearly wanted this barrel because of the spice and the finish. And the one that Chad and Sarah got, how Chad loves nuttiness.
Yeah.
I mean, it was more on the nutty side, a little bit more drying, I think, but still sweet. I think we got the, for us, for what we wanted with the finish, we got the barrel we wanted with the Rebel.
That's the thing. Like we keep talking about the finish part of it, and that's one nice thing with both of these is that like you get that profile and then that nice lingering long finish on both of them. So that was the one thing I think that really made these two stand out. Amongst the others was that you just got that great finish on these things. So.
I don't think I'll ever drink these by themselves. I'm just gonna blend them every time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's so good.
It's really, really good.
I would never if you told me that was a weeder and that was 120 proof, I'd call you a liar. I mean,
it does not taste like a weeder to me at all. And I'm not a big weeder guy. Like, okay, I do like Weller 107. I like Buffalo Trace weeders, like most people do.
Yeah,
but I hate. I mean, I literally gave away bottles this weekend of Larceny to my brother or to my father-in-law who's here, and I was like, "Here, take them." I tried to like them, didn't like them. You can have them.
It just drinks so hot. Johnny Utah, go get them. Just go get them.
30 miles away.
It's the most frustrating thing when you see something like that. You get an update, it just stalled. Like,
you see the big red like potential delay, and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, it's a tough one. All right, what else do we have? I think we've covered. I say it. We've got a lot of stuff going, and we've got a lot of stuff, in the works. So, we appreciate every one of you for all of the support. So we're working on the Magnus. They're not doing it. They're not doing it anymore in 21. We've already been told that. So
all we can say right now is just stay tuned, because there's a lot of good shit coming. So
there's a lot of good, interesting things. That's one thing. We're always pushing for trying to get something that's different. Like, that's part of it. Like, whether we strike out on something or not, like, the idea is to always continue to push the envelope in terms of trying to get something that's a little bit different and unique. So if we can do that at some point, that was a little bit of our run at the Backbone. We knew it would be at the price point. We knew what it would be, that it may sit for a little bit, but we still wanted to do it. We wanted to do something that was different. We didn't have, you tell me who's got a sherry finish Backbone pick out there. I would like to see it. I don't think there's anybody who's got it, from Backbone anyway. So it was kind of one of those cool things we took a little run at, and we wanted to do something different. And, we think it worked out well, but.
I think most people between the two of you guys probably get a lot of their, their bourbon buying advice from you guys. So, it's one of those deals. I know I do. Y'all do reviews on stuff, and I'm like, all right, I'll go pick up a bottle.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where if they trust your palate, they'll trust the picks, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's one of the things. Like, we agreed early on, if there's something during a pick that we don't like, we're going to pass, and we're not going to just settle on something. That's the thing, is that we've been fortunate so far, as to the things that we've done picks of, that we've really been able to, do something well. And the good part is, like, we're not just doing these ourselves. Like, you were part of the Peerless pick. So we're getting other people involved. So it gives you even that other layer of, like, hey, it's not just us, it's others who are signing off on this too. So we're making this as much of a universal, type of thing as possible. We want to get you guys involved. So,
well, and I think that's probably the coolest thing y'all are doing. I've never done a barrel pick in my life, and didn't think I'd ever get to do one. So that was really cool that y'all,
Yeah, we want to get as many people involved as possible. Obviously, we know some brands mean more to others than, so that's why, of course, we want to get Trev involved in the Maker's Pick, and stuff like that. You had mentioned an interest in Peerless, so it was great to have you on that pick. Yep. So, we're going to kind of feel it out that way, and, always try to get people involved. You'll be involved in the stickers. And like I said, it's a club definitely for the community and for all you guys. If you like what Scott and I are doing as far as our palettes, then I think you're going to be happy. It's funny when we pick. It's like, I always want to go like really far into fucking left field as far as like a flavor profile.
Yeah.
And Scott kind of keeps me like grounded, because he's looking for something that has like a lot of depth and flavor to it, and a lot of rounded flavors. And I get that. So we somehow always seem to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
So,
well, that was like our Peerless pick we did. We had that one rye.
Yeah.
That didn't taste like a rye.
Yeah.
Jason's the kind of guy who he can't swim, and he goes to the diving board at the deep end, and he wants to jump. And then my job is, as the lifeguard, to back him off a little bit. Like, let's pump the brakes here before you dive in. You got no water wings. You got nothing. Let's just.
He doesn't want to give you mouth to mouth.
Before you take the plunge, and I gotta give you CPR or something. But hey, at the end of the day, we ultimately get it right. I think we work really well, and that stuff all does really. Oh, hang on a second. I got the superstar's making the appearance.
Oh, look who's here, the 14-year boy.
We got the 14-year-old boy in.
There he is, buddy. Put down that Weller, feller. Put down
that Weller. Yeah. That's he says no. What's that? No more signing of bottles, he says.
Oh, no more autographs.
No more.
Autographs.
His paw print is too sore. He can't do it anymore. So
he's got resting like get the fuck away from me face.
yeah, he's it's a little bit late, so we're a little bit tired.
RBF.
Probably had a log day. He's like, I'm not really interested in dealing with any of your people's shit right now. So, but all right, there you go. Go to bed.
There he goes.
So, off he goes. 14 years old.
Wow,
going like a little champ. So, but yeah. So I mean, hey, like we said before, I mean, the thing we're always going to do is we're going to keep pushing. We're going to bring you guys different things, fun, delicious. We're not going to settle, and more importantly, we're going to keep you guys involved. That's the fun of it, whether it's virtual or in person or whatever it may be. We'll do some of those things. Maybe do a little like kind of a universal meetup thing. Maybe as we get into 22 and things kind of settle down a little bit, where we can.
Really we had plans to do something at Bardstown Bourbon Company in their tasting room, but with COVID, it was a little bit hard to kind of plan that.
Yeah.
So. Luckily, the meetup at Chattanooga I'm doing at the end of the month will still happen, and we're on track for that to happen. So
I should be there.
Yeah, Wade, Mr. Funny Man. So yeah, so hey, I guess on that note, thanks everybody for all the support and kind of going on this ride with us. I mean, it's been fun so far. We don't have any plans of stopping anytime soon. It's been a whirlwind, that's for sure. But we're ultimately doing this stuff for you guys. As much as it's fun for us, it's a lot of work, and we love to hear and see the feedback, and hoping that everybody continues to enjoy these things. So that's the main thing. So
keep an eye out for the Old Elks a couple days. So.
Before we leave, I want to leave you guys with something that's a little funny. If you've seen it, I apologize. If you haven't, you're about ready to maybe pee yourself. So go get some Depends, and hang on a second here.
What the hell are you doing?
Hang on.
Oh God. God. God, you can't keep playing that thing. Scott loses his mind whenever he hears that shit.
I mean, this is the funniest thing ever.
All right, Scott, cut it off.
All right.
Hey, Goo. Oh my.
Hey, Goo. Oh man. So anyway, that was I couldn't even, when I first saw it, Jason showed it to me, I couldn't even stop. Like I drove my wife crazy for probably a week and a half on that. Every time something.
You should look up the SNL skit for the Alexa Silver.
Oh, maybe that'll be my next stream or something. I'll show that. But all right, everybody, thanks for joining tonight. So next week on my channel, we'll be doing the Penelope Blend. So yes. Myself, Jason, Big Sexy, Matt Porter, ADHD, we'll be doing that. I think Michael's going to be there from Penelope, right?
Yeah, we'll be joined by both Mike and God, I forgot his name, Mike, and basically the combo of guys that started Penelope will be on. So Mike kind of does all the hustling to get the barrels, and I want to say his name is Pete. He's the one that does most of the blends for them. So both of them will be on the channel with us to talk through what we're tasting, maybe some ways we could blend some different stuff, and what we'll be able to do with that blend once we once we hone in on one. So it'll be fun.
And the thing with that is that's going to be, whether it's 200 bottles or whatever, that's going to be an incredibly unique thing. There will be those bottles, and that will be it. So that's one of the things we want to do, something different and fun. So yeah, we'll be doing that next Tuesday, 8 Eastern on my channel. We'll get all the details and stuff out. But again, everybody, thank you so much for all of your support. We're glad to hear that everyone's kind of enjoying a lot of what we're doing so far. So we appreciate everything very much. So with that being said, we'll see you guys all next week. Remember, it's about the journey, not the destination. Cheers.